Grids are amazing guides for designers, and they can come in many different shapes and sizes. They allow us to set up even spacing between elements. Take for instance these 3 boxes. Lining them up with my eye, I can get kind of close, but lining it up on the grid system really helps make them look concise and structured. Humans love order. It's oddly satisfying. There are thousands of videos on YouTube that show this is a real reality. There are countless memes and videos on YouTube that outline the fact there's just one thing out of order. It just shakes us to the core. Disorder does not seem to resonate or provide a sense of balance, which we humans often crave because of our own disordered lives. So how can I, as a designer, help provide this wonderful sense of balance, structure, and satisfy this craving for perfection? Well, grids, of course. I do often what is called blocking, when I try to find the right layout for design. I will turn content into blocks. Then I will roughly arrange those on a canvas of the right size. Take for instance this poster. I need to have 3 blocks of information, each with its own header. I also need to have a website and a call to action somewhere toward the bottom. Most of this content I receive from a client, so it's required information that cannot be changed. It's my job to show this all in some sort of nice and pleasing order and structure. I also need to be able to entice people to read this content, so I'm going to need a larger headline type, perhaps a photo too. I place this rough blocked out design on the grid and I start to play around with spacing. I make sure there's even spacing between the 2 columns of information. I also make sure certain spacing is consistent throughout the design, including similar spacing between the elements of design. You can see what it looks like before and after. The after looks much better, thanks to being able to block this out using grids and blocking out my design first. Blocking is such a helpful tool when creating your layouts. There's also something called the golden ratio in layout design. The golden ratio will be talked about a little bit later in this course in more detail, but it's the ratio of 0.618 to 0.382, meaning if I had a 1 inch or 1 centimeter square and I applied their golden ratio to it, the top portion would be 0.618 and the bottom 0.382 inches, centimeters, whatever measurement you want to use. Or I can flip these blocks around as long as it maintains that ratio of division. The golden ratio is naturally pleasing to the eye and it can be seen and echoed throughout nature. Take for instance this layout. If we applied the golden ratio and made the top portion of the design with the photography and headline 0.618 of the total height of the design and the bottom portion 0.382 the height of the total design, it seems to be a natural and pleasing balance of elements. We could take this a step further still and replicate our ratio to create the classic spiral you see when you Google or research the golden ratio. The spiral is made up of larger and larger rectangles containing the same ratio. We can apply the golden ratio spiral to layout designs and place our focal points in our designs in the more densely populated parts of the spiral, the inner spiral portion, and leave less important stuff toward the outside of the spiral. The golden ratio applied to layout design is pretty neat to study. It's something I use a little less often in my practical real-world projects, but I wanted to show you this so you can have just another tool you can use and basis for understanding of why certain layouts work over others.